Hi guys, Dynamo22 back here with the battle, and this is a pretty quick one, so I'm not gonna speed it up, so I can actually go through thought process and crap like that. And I think at the start of my battles, I'm gonna kind of go through the whole team dealio, since you can see it in 5th gen, so there's a thought process going on at the start, looking at the team. And so on his team, we've got Golbat, who we find out is not actually Eviolite. Torterra, who's not that big of a threat to most of my team. Basically, anything that can be weak to eruptions in trouble at some point or another. Magmortar, that is a large threat to my team because it hits like a freaking truck. And it also likes to attack with special attacks, and my team's mostly physically bulky. So that's something to look out for. Licky Licky, I've never really had problems with in the past, but theoretically that's a good Pokemon, so I should be looking out for it. I probably won't. Poliwrath concerns me because it does the being a water type thing. And then we've got Sableye here, and that concerns me a whole heck of a lot because Sableye is just not fun to deal with, as anyone who's actually played against Sableye knows. So that's what I have to look out for, and I'm going to lead off with Pelipper because Pelipper isn't really afraid of very much on his team, as far as one-shot dying, other than that Magmortar with Thunderbolt, because every Magmortar pretty much carries Thunderbolt. So in that case I would have switched to Lantern, but he leads with the Golbat, who is Acrobatics Flying Gym. Luckily I'm lots of defense Pelipper, so I'm going to go ahead and go with the Soak here because he's poison type, and so I can't really toxic him. But now he's water type, so that's great. So he's going to go for the Hypnosis here, which luckily for me misses. And so now I can get the Toxicon, which again luckily for me doesn't miss, which is great because now his poison type is poison, so yes, we're already having fun. And I'm going to get some nice leftovers, and he's going to get some nice poison, and he's going to go for another Hypnosis here, and it's going to miss too. And I decided to Roost instead of going for the Skydrop, in case he wanted to switch, then I would have health and I could switch, as opposed to just doing 0 damage to something and maybe having to take a hit. So he goes for the Hypnosis and it misses, and I forgot to mention that I have Venomoth this battle, and he said it was alright because he was just that desperate for a battle. And so, yeah, I was like, I wish I could do an Arya battle, but I got Venomoth, and he's like, dude, I just really need a battle. Fine, whatever, bring Venomoth, because I told him I didn't have anyone else. So he's going to miss yet another Hypnosis, because Hypnosis only has 60% accuracy, so, that kind of crap happens. At this point, I realized, Venomoth's asleep, then maybe it won't do that much. And, Pelipper's been doing pretty good here, so I don't really want Pelipper to go to sleep. But at this point, he's going to die to Toxic in the next turn. And so, he U-turns his way out of there and goes into the Magmortar that I was concerned about earlier. So, seeing that he can fry me with anything, I'm going to go to the Lantern to take either a Fire-type special move or the Thunderbolt. The rest of Magmortar's moves I haven't really seen very often. I'm guessing Focus Blast, I'm pretty sure is one of them. I don't know what his last hidden power, I'm guessing of some kind. But he's a Life Orb, as we can see, and that comes into play later because I see this and I'm like, Life Orb, and then later I'm like, what? I thought he was Life Orb, but I can't remember. So I do something that you wouldn't do if you paid attention. But I'm just going to go for a Surf here, because the only thing on his team that is immune to Surf is that Poliwrath dude, who isn't going to like Thunderbolts and is already at full health, so I'm not giving him anything if he switches into one. So he goes into Gene Simmons, the Licky Licky, and I don't really want to take a Power Whip. I don't really know what he's going to do, so I just go to my Tangela because he just has lots of physical defense and resists grass, which, unlike my other physical defense guy, Sandslash, that was my other option. I'm like, Tangela seems the safe play. which is a good thing for me because he decides to start boosting his crap. So I'm gonna go for the knockoff here. If he had switched into that Golbat dude, then I would have knocked off nothing, and I would be at a rather large type disadvantage. But he just stays in and continues to curse as I got rid of his leftovers, which is nice because now he doesn't heal as he's cursing or ever. So now I'm going to Elite Seed because I'm guessing if he has Curse, he also has Rest. So Toxic, not my main form of damage here. So he's still going for Curse. He's at like +3, I think, at this point. And Elite Seed's working on him. Leftovers are not working on him. And I'm just kind of hoping to stall this thing out because it's got lots of power and defense right now. So I'm going to go for the Toxic here just to slowly, the more I hurt him, the more better. And if he goes for a Rest, then, then I have some nice turns to take advantage of it. He is going to Dragon Tail me out. It does literally nothing because he forces me to regenerate it, even at +3. So, I'm guessing this is the Rest Talk Curse Dragon Tail set I've seen before. And I'm going to go for a sub here on that, in that case, just to stall for more turns of that crap with the residual damage that I have placed upon him. That's the English I was trying to get across to you. So he Dragon Tails the sub, which breaks his +3. That's a mechanic I really thought should be different. Is I know Dragon Tail doesn't go through subs, which makes sense, but it should be an automatic break of a sub. Like when Dragon Tail doesn't break a sub, you can fling Snorlax back into its Pokeball, but the substitute is clearly much too heavy. But yeah, I just go for a Bug Buzz trying to kill him, expecting him to rest. Unfortunately, it doesn't kill him. Fortunately, he goes for the Dragon Tail, and that doesn't even do that much to me at +3. And he brings me into Typhlosion here. Luckily, there's no rocks up on his side of the field. But unfortunately, he dies, so he can bring in a counter, and that's Typhlosion's main thing here is hitting the counter on the switch with Eruption, which is so powerful it hurts anyway. So here's the game-winning play basically right here. He goes into Polyswag, and I'm pretty sure he's not going to see this coming. So I'm going to go for the Solar Beam. I know it won't kill him, it'll bring him into red health, but I'm going to go with the bet that he's not going to Surf or something. Waterfall is more likely. He's going to go for a Substitute because I've only ever faced Sub Bulk Up Punch Poliwrath before. And luckily he does in fact decide to go for the Substitute. And now he's screwed because I can click Eruption and he's not got much that can take that. He goes into Magmortar because Magmortar resists Eruption, right? But that's still like 111 power resisted. So basically what's going on is through the sheer power of his awesomeness, Typhlosion throws Burning Rocks on his team. And here's where I'm like, I don't know if I can outspeed him. So I go into Pelipper because I figured the Lantern's too obvious. And, Thunderbolt. It's a lovely play. I would have realized that even timid Magmortar does not outspeed my modest Typhlosion. I could have basically 6-0'd him here. But, or if I had switched to Pelipper, or not Pelipper, I did switch to Pelipper. That was a great play because Thunderbolt is Pelipper's best friend. But, then I go on Smogon, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure I've fought Magmortar before, and I remember, I'm pretty sure it's Life Orb, and I look, yep, Life Orb when he kills, my dude. So he cannot possibly outspeed Typhlosion. Now he's done. That little bit of Life Orb recoil, I guess, helped me get into definite KO range. Now here he's got Sableye, and at this point I've just got to risk the Eruption. I know he's going to Confuse Ray, but that's his only choice. Otherwise, if I don't just wipe him out with an Eruption right here, I'm going to have to play all sorts of games with Sableye, which is just awful. That's why no one likes Sableye, except for people who use him, including, hopefully, me in the future, once I actually find a Dream World Sableye in the Dream World. But luckily, Typhlosion decides that between smacking himself in the face or destroying the opponent's team, he'd prefer the second. So that's awesome. The loser with no weaknesses goes down in one hits. And now since I'm confused, I can just pretty much switch out, and whenever I can get him back in freely trash the rest of his team. He goes into this poly dude here. He tries to substitute on the switch, but he was eating pizza instead of doing math, so he didn't realize he didn't have enough HP. So now he substitutes for, I guess he only has Focus Punch and Waterfall, and Bulk Up is what I would guess the set is. So unless he wants to Waterfall Tangela, he didn't really have much of a choice. He kind of, I guess, was hoping I'd go for one of my little statusy things. But I have nothing better to do than Giga Drain away. He goes into Torterra here, who takes neutral from this. So, you know, that's kinda, I can't Leech Seed him, but other than that, there's no problem here. He's gonna Earthquake me, which, you know, I don't care about that. I'm Tangela. Earthquake, what is this? Does 60 damage to me. If I had a Soda Pop, you know, I'd heal that off. So since I can't Leech Seed, I'm just gonna Toxic him. I was afraid of him setting up rocks because, you know, his main fear is Typhlosion, but he just runs because that pizza that he was eating, instead of seeing if he could make a substitute, it was getting cold. And clearly Typhlosion was going to mop the floor with the rest of his team. So that's the lesson of the day. Don't mess with Typhlosion, and I'll see you all at a later date.